welcome to FVTV, the place to be to create a home and a life that you love. I am Francesca Very, and today, on this glorious morning, I want to talk to you about simplicity, and specifically living a simpler life. While it can sound difficult and maybe even complicated, I assure you, there are simple solutions to attain it. If you want simplicity in life, so how you live and work and exist in this world flows easier and feels lighter, you must first be willing to do one very important thing. You must do the work necessary to let go of the things that create difficulty. That might not sound simple, but it isn't impossible, and that's good news. By difficulty, I mean anything that crowds or confuses and causes you to feel overwhelmed, stressed, or unfulfilled. The operative word here is anything. Anything can be physical clutter, like the stuff you find in the back of a closet, tucked away in a basement, or sitting on a countertop, waiting for a decision to be made. Anything can also be mental clutter, like limiting beliefs, too much to do on your mind, or negative self-talk that leaves you constantly feeling unworthy. And anything for sure can be a person or a place that pulls you away from the life you want to live and doesn't allow you to be yourself or feel free in your own skin. If you want to create a life you love, there's no good place in it for any of those anythings. Now, when you really dig in, make sense of, make decisions on the stuff that make up those anythings, things start to feel complicated, or you start to complicate things. You let fear of not having enough or being enough cloud your vision. You take on all of that, too much at once, and you get overwhelmed. And you let in self-doubt and allow it to determine whether you can actually do this sometimes daunting work. Here's the answer to that pondering. You can. There is no shame in feeling afraid or overwhelmed, and certainly no shame in wondering if you can actually do this work. It happens to the very best of us. Here are 4 things to remember when moving through fear and doubt toward a simple solution to what feels complicated. The first thing to remember is simple doesn't mean easy. I know I said it before, and it's worthy of repeating again. What simple means is that there's a basic way to look at doing something. It's like finding the lowest common denominator in a complicated math problem. You use the lowest denominator to solve the problem, but it doesn't necessarily mean the problem itself is easy. Your approach to processing it, however, can be. Don't look for things to be easy. Life isn't easy, but things don't have to always be difficult. The second thing to remember is don't try to escape difficult. Many people try too hard to avoid conflict or difficulties when in fact they're inevitable and actually an opportunity for growth. You might think if you are perfect on time, have everything in line, things will be easy or easier. The impossibility of perfection aside, working diligently, specifically and deliberately can yield easier, but it just isn't the case all the time. You'll burn yourself out trying to avoid what is inevitable. Hard is part of life. Instead of looking to escape difficulties, embrace simple approaches. For example, the simple approach and the lowest common denominator, if you will, in a weighty decluttering project is to think and start small. You're making smaller decisions and using smaller amounts of time, making the daunting and difficult simpler to address. And the third thing to remember when moving through fear and doubt toward a simple solution to what feels complicated is you have a choice. This is your life. You have a choice of what you let in and how you think and act. You get to choose the thoughts, things, and people that will make living your life simpler. And you get to choose the approach you take. You can always use a simple solution. Take a quieter way and a less encumbered path towards an easier way of living. It's all available to you. When you approach what feels hard using a simple perspective, everything becomes possible. And finally, the fourth thing to remember is minimal makes meaning. Stuff and more anythings do not add meaning. They take it away. Whether physically or mentally, they suck time, energy, and life out of your life. Simply put, you let in complicated and difficult when there's more. Minimal in both your mindset and in terms of how much you physically own creates room for your space and your heart to breathe. When things are tough, remember to seek out simple. Things won't always go as planned. You will fail. Life can be very hard, but using simple lessens the blow and makes working through the complicated easier. I'd love to hear from you. What in life feels complicated? Which thought process helps you move through the fear and doubt and leaves things feeling simpler and doable? I'd love to hear from you. If you like what you saw here, please hit like to support me and my channel. And if you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss a single thing I post about how to let go, get organized, and live simply and well. I'd love to have you back. Until I see you again, remember, you are the architect of your life. You have the power to choose the contents, the thoughts, things, and people that will make it a life you love. See you soon.